and I'll speak a little bit later. And what I'll do now is I'll give the microphone to Mr. Garapasi, who's actually been so kind to lend all of her organization to us and help organize this amazing event. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Teddy. Good evening, everybody. I'm really delighted that I was actually invited to be part of this launching event. Actually, today we give birth to Singularity University chapter in Sofia. You know what is DNA. It's little molecule which gives instructions to the cell how they should move forward, develop, and reproduce themselves. Our organization is called DNA. The abbreviation means Digital National Alliance. But when we were looking for the name, we very much wanted to send this symbolic message that we believe that digital gradually is becoming the DNA of our society. So when Theodore came to us and said, would you support us to launch the Singularity University chapter in Sofia? We said, of course we will. And here we are today. Actually, we have three different points of view which will be represented here in front of you. Talking about digital, talking about technology, talking about scientific progress and exponential organization. We decided to look at them from the points of view of the government, and we're very thankful that among us today is Mr. Kale Palin. As you see this 31 years old face, you will not believe that he's a politician, but yes, he is. Moreover, he is a politician in one of the most dynamic digital society in Europe, that of Estonia. And we are really looking forward to hear from you how is Estonia moving forward and what kind of best practice we can practically take from Estonia. And we're coming with Kale from one very interesting debate in the Bulgarian parliament, where we try to brainstorm how we can further push the shared economy in Bulgaria using exactly the best practices of Estonia. So with these few remarks, I would dare to give the microphone directly to Kale and invite him to be so kind and help us launch this event.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here in front of you in such an important day for you when you launch this Singularity Union in Sofia. It's good that innovative-minded people gather together and try to invent the future together, not worried about what happened yesterday. Like most of the politicians always like to analyze, especially today in European Parliament, in some other countries internally, all the debates are going what went wrong and why Brexit happened. But anyway, today I would like to talk about much more positive things. And I just recently had a few hours ago a very fruitful meeting in your National Assembly by the invitation of DNA and your head of Parliament's head of Transport Committee, and we discussed that how Bulgaria could or should embrace the sharing economy and ride sharing. By the way, in Estonia we are making quite big steps ahead in that field, but I will stop in that later on. So Estonia, as you see on the current European Union map, it's located over there, quite in the north, very small Nordic country with a population of 1.3 million. It's less than the people who lives in Manhattan, and definitely less than the people that live in Bulgaria, almost as much as you have the population in Sofia. So we are members of the EU, NATO, OECD, and we are founders of Digital 5, which are the 5 states who has this digital mind, and we have Euro in Estonia as well, so we are part of the Eurozone. So you probably have heard about Estonia, and usually we call it e-Estonia, and we are very familiar with the digital life. So as you saw in the first slide, we have 45,000 square meters. Half of the territory of Estonia is covered with forests, so you probably can imagine that we have clean nature, and the biggest pollution is the wireless network, which covers all Estonia. And this is how the real life in Estonia looks like. Everybody is involved with digital. They can consume different services digital. They are most of the time online everywhere, and it doesn't depend whether you're young or old. And one important fact is that 60% of all the internet traffic in Estonia is consumed via smart devices, so smartphones and tablets. So 60%. And this is a challenge for us because 10 years ago we started to make all the e-services computer-based, and now nobody uses computers anymore, and of course this is a challenge for us. So one simple economic advice for you: if you should have some shares in Parker, it's a good time to sell it, because in the future most of the signatures will be given digitally. So in Estonia we already have almost 300 million digital signatures that we have given, and but we still have some traditions in the parliament. So we sign the minutes. The minutes we sign by hand using Parker pen. So Estonia is also known as very, let's say, open-minded society for new kind of enterprises, new kind of activities. So it's easy to do business in Estonia as everything is digital. We have more than 2,600 e-services provided by the government and by the private companies to our citizens. So it's quite a lot, and it makes your life quite easy over there. For example, it takes, let's say, if you are slow, it takes a day or a few hours to found a company in Estonia, but the record is 18 minutes. So then you just have founded a real working company in Estonia, and all the other additional, let's say, things that you have to do, declaring taxes, everything is digital again. And all the individuals, if they declare their taxes, and if they are not too slow, they can do it in 5 minutes and get the tax rebate in 1 week. So I don't know how much it takes time in your country, but anyway, it's quite good and people like it. And just a funny example that we start the tax declaration on the 1st of February, and the 1st of February starts at midnight. So within 1 hour, from 0 to 1 a.m. at night, we had already 60,000 people who have declared their taxes electronically. And of course, the motivation is that it's so simple, and it is because you get the rebate as soon as possible then. And this is just an illustration whether you should spend your time to communicate with government officials, or you would like to search for adventures somewhere outside. So this is a very, very nice example of a weather where people would prefer to stay home instead of going to voting to the polling station. And Brexit definitely happened, but all the, let's say, politologues and politicians said if there will be a bad weather in Great Britain, and probably there was bad weather then those who would like to stay, they won't just go out because the polling station is too far and it's raining and they don't like to waste their time. So Estonia is one and the only country in the world where we have e-voting, and we had just last parliamentary elections last year, and 30% of the votes were given electronically, and let's say the share of electronic votes is growing year by year. Just everything is digital, and then this is probably the biggest compliment that you could ever get. President Obama, while he visited Estonia 2 years ago, they had some problems in their e-healthcare system in the United States, and then he said something like that. So it's a good compliment for us, of course. And e-healthcare and e-prescriptions are just a few examples that we have in Estonia from these 2,600 services that we have. So I would go more quickly here. So this is just a funny illustration that why you should have e-services, because nobody can decide because of your face or because of you have bad relations with him during the school time. So in internet, nobody knows that on the other side of the screen there is a dog, so nobody knows who you are. So you could do it simple and anonymously. So this is it. All the system is based on electronic identity, and this is mandatory for all the citizens. And this is the key issue. So you should have the e-identity. It could be the ID card. It could be the SIM card for your mobile phone. It's easy, and you just I lost this ID card, and I haven't had it for 2 years now because I can do it by the mobile phone. So, but anyway, if you start, or if in some countries of yours you would like to start with the society and smart society, then it's the key issue is the electronic identity. This is too technical probably, but the backbone of the system is so-called X-roads. It's the highway, if we could compare it with the roads. So the main thing that everybody could use is the highway, and all the distributing roads. These are all these different agencies, and we have the one-only principle as well. So if one agency already has information about you, then the other agency can't ask it from you. He should have it already pre-filled. So this makes the system very simple. And this is how the real life looks like. So all the agencies are connecting each other via X-road, and it's totally safe. And this is the hashtag Estonian Mafia. We have a lot of different startups in Estonia, and all things, all these things, all this e-society happened together with the cooperation of private sector. It wouldn't have happened without political will, but from the first days, the first killer applications, we call them, let's say, the triggers, what delivered people to use e-services, they were all funded by the private sector. So the first was banks, because banks said that if you purchase more than 200 euros per day, you must log in using electronic identity. Without that, you can't do the transaction. And the second killer application was e-school. So there used to be the system 10 years ago where the grades were put by the teachers to the diaries, but then all the all these grades went digital, the system was run by private sector, and all the parents had to log in using electronic identity to look at what their children are doing in the schools. And again, it was a killer application, and that just simply happened. So this is our government, of course. Zero bureaucracy, real-time economy. I will just jump very fast, but this is the interesting part, probably for you as well. So I mentioned we have 2,600 different e-services in Estonia that all the citizens can consume, and we found it 2 years ago that probably the first governmental startup in the world. It's called e-residency, and everybody here in this audience could become an e-resident and consume all these same services that we have by our country, by yourself. So it's not a citizenship, it's not a travel document, but it has all the other benefits that we have. So you could just go to our nearest embassy, apply for it, and we will send it to you. And now we changed the law; you can even open a bank account in Estonia without visiting Estonia. So it's very simple. And these are Edward Lucas is the first e-resident, of course, Prince Andrew, Steve Jurgensen, everybody. So it's for now we have some 10,500 e-residents, 25,000 applications to look at, and residents from more than 130 different countries worldwide. And why we are doing that, and why this slide is especially important for you, is that 40% of US workforce will be freelancers by 2020. Probably many of yours, you are already freelancers. So we predict, and not only we, but many predict that by 2020 we have 100 million people working as freelancers and online pretty soon. And the global online freelancing is growing, and all the freelancers need good infrastructure and good environment. So there is no single best place for everything. But soon governments will compete because of providing best environment for the freelancers, for the workers who would like to work abroad, because the same 100 million, probably by 2020, probably even sooner, are those who are ready to pack their bags in a few weeks, few months, and move with their families to some country where the environment is good. As I mentioned, the environment as such, forests, nature, is good. It's not so warm as it is here in Bulgaria and in Southern Europe, but we have the government where things just happened for the citizens. We think that a client citizen is the best model. So if we look at the most successful sectors globally, telecoms and banks, who have made their services so simple that they just find customers. So let's say they just simply somewhere it's the place where they will be connected. So we would like to develop our country the same way, that to provide the easiest services for our citizens, so that it would be soon possible to live your life this way, that you won't have to visit the government official from birth to death at all. with one exemption, when you have to collect your passport and the identity. So everything would be done electronically. So as I mentioned, we already have 10,000 new residents, already 1,500 new companies founded, and 20 service providers who are actively providing services in Estonia already. So it's quite okay, and let's say the small target, it isn't such small at all, is to have 10 million e-residents by 2020. But we are doing quite good, at least in the beginning. So that I already talked about, and this is just one simple thing to compare with all the other popular services. So Uber, the world's largest taxi company, owns no vehicles. Facebook, the world's most popular media owner, creates contents. Airbnb, the world's largest accommodation provider, owns no real estate. And Estonia, the world's largest country, which has only 1.3 million physical residents. So something interesting is definitely happening, and I don't know if we will be there, but the marks definitely show that we are. And just one other simple thing to compare is that we have the birth rate in 2014 was 14,000. So and with 1 year we had 10,000 residents. So it could be the solution to pay pensions for our parents actually in the future as well. And the last thing, which was so natural to do in Estonia, not to ban it like many countries would like to do it, is regulating collaborative economy. So we started from ride sharing, and we're moving forward with accommodation as well. So we already introduced a draft law in the parliament in February. We will have a second and third reading in September, October, and hopefully we will be the first country who makes Uber as a legal service in Europe. So it's a simple approach. We would like to regulate the individuals who take part of the economy, because we believe that collaborative economy with so little burdens is a good tool to motivate people to become entrepreneurs and employers, and that's why it's no need to regulate the platform as such, but the individuals. And of course, platforms should have some requirements as well, but they can't take the responsibility of the service providers. So anyway, that's it. And we are doing the same with Airbnb and Booking.com already. Also regulating the apartment owners. And one more simple and so Estonian thing that we did is that we brought Uber and our tax board together around one table, and we have a solution, again the first in the whole world, where all the Uber drivers who earn income by providing the service will declare all the taxes automatically for our tax board. So the tax is no longer an argument to say that Uber or Airbnb can't be regulated because it's illegal, they don't pay taxes. And we went even further, and we offered that we could collect the taxes for Uber drivers globally, and we offered that for Uber's vice president because it's so simple. The Uber app is the same worldwide. Tax collecting, let's say, extra app for this app, the solution is so simple. We could add it for all the drivers who would like to become a part of Uber's community or some other ride-sharing service. This Booking.com and Airbnb the same. It's all app-based. It's all digital. No cash involved. So the countries and states should be very interested of having that kind of services, because as we know, the traditional taxi service, at least in my country, I don't want to talk about yours, but at least in my country, is not tax compliant either. So we don't see any income on our balance sheets by the traditional taxi sector. So it's quite interesting times, and as I mentioned already, if we do have a challenge in collecting taxes for Uber drivers, we could just please say to us the income tax level that you want to collect, and we just change the number in Excel, and then we'll pay it out every week. So it's probably easier to get these taxes this way than to invent the wheel again and have your own tax board for these services. At least as long as you don't have your own, we could do it this way. Then the citizens and the customers who like the service, at least in Estonia, people like Uber, people like Booking.com and Airbnb, they can consume the service. Otherwise, there will be too long with the services that are not placed in the iPhone. So this is the old trademark of Estonia, but as long as we don't have a new one, it's okay. So you can check all these things out. There are a lot of videos, a lot of material. You'll find out about Estonia. And one good thing is that we have to be let's say EU presidential countries first, we, and then just after us you. So there will be a lot of cooperation in ICT fields as well, hopefully. So thank you for the attention. If there is questions, I will be there all night, so I could answer right now or later on somewhere. So thank you once again.
Thank you very much. Indeed, inspiring start of the discussion. And I can only say that I believe that the Estonian presidency, which will go hand in hand with the Bulgarian one of the European Union, will be a very stimulating thing. I know you're going to do a paperless presidency. I don't believe we will be able to do, but at least we might start to think about it. With these few words, I'm really happy to give the floor to Theodore, who is the Singularity University ambassador in Sofia. Actually, Teddy was the second person who mentioned Singularity in front of me. You wouldn't believe who was the first one. That was Sandy Češko. You know the guy? He's a Slovenian startup entrepreneur who is the brain behind this teleshop, which is producing the Red stuff and things like this all the time on the TV. And when he was here in Bulgaria, and we were having dinner with Solomon with him, he said, "You Bulgarians are very modern people, so you probably have heard of Singularity University." We were like this, no, we actually have not. And he said, if you're really interested in the future, that is the thing you should bring much more to Bulgaria. So when Teddy came a year later and gave to us as a gift this very impressive book of Singularity University called Exponential Organization, he was actually knocking on an open door. So Teddy, I'm really happy to give the floor to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Okay, guys. I'll just do a quick video, like a short video which encompasses everything about Singularity University, and then I'll speak, and then you can interrupt me all the time, ask all kinds of questions. And then by the end of my presentation, a schoolmate of mine will be here. He's lost somewhere. I've been chatting with him for the past half an hour, probably in a taxi. And then we'll have one more brother. Then we'll have one more presentation from him. He founded a company with 3 of our schoolmates in Singularity University. He'll tell you a little bit more about exponential impact because his numbers are through the roof. And there we go. Okay, just a second. Here. Whatever. Okay, you just.
I will help you.
Okay, go ahead and fill that. There we go. You guys can hear me. I will not turn this microphone off anymore. So anyway, what do we have here? We have Radoy, who's an alumni from one executive program from Singularity University. And we also have Vito over there, who's a classmate of mine from the graduate studies program of 2013. By the way, we have the general manager of Uber for Central Eastern Europe right over here, so you can ask him a question or two afterwards. His name is Anthony. Good guy. And nice. Cool. Can you guys see this? Right, amazing. So, yeah, live demos, that's how it works. So, as you know, my name is Theodor Paniotov. I'm actually the chapter ambassador. There is another guy who's the official ambassador, and I'll show his picture in a second. You've probably seen him or know him by now. And we'll talk today about what is actually the Singularity University, what are exponential technologies, and what are we going to do this chapter in the next year. So to start, whenever you end up in Singularity University, that's actually the first thing you see in the morning. The morning after you wake up, that's this ugly building, is the largest airship hangar in the world. It was built in 1928, and NASA was not yet NASA, it was NACA, because there was no space yet. And this thing is huge, it's like 3 football fields. So that's where it is located. It's in Mountain View, in NASA military base. Those two guys are the founders. One of them is called Peter Diamandis, and the other one is Ray Kurzweil. Ray Kurzweil invented the flatbed scanner, the first text-to-speech engine, the first speech-to-text engine. If you have an iPhone, the iPhone has a program called Siri. Siri speaks to you. So this was sold to Apple from a company called Nuance Communications, which Ray founded and sold in the mid-90s. And the other person is Peter Diamandis. He's most famous for being the founder of the X Prize Foundation. So if you've seen the Virgin Galactic, the Richard Branson spaceship thing, that was one of the projects which won one of his contests. So Singularity University's mission is to educate, empower, and inspire leaders to apply exponential technologies to address the humanities' grand challenges. So that said, here's some examples of the faculty over there. Here's some examples of the people who I really think we should try to invite in Bulgaria or get them over to Skype to do a Skype talk with us. Raymond Macaulay is one of the best biotechnicians, bioinformaticists in the world. And then Rob Nail founded the robotics company, sold it for $100 million. Dan Barry is a NASA astronaut, 2 times commander of the space shuttle. I actually asked him how many times did he have to apply to NASA in order to even become an astronaut, let alone go fly the space shuttle, and it was 13 times over 15 years. And then Neil Jacobstein is one of the leading researchers in artificial intelligence in the world. So that said, those are the guys who are the alumni in Bulgaria. Fortunately, we are not Israel. Israel has like a whole mafia, hundreds of people who went through Singularity University. It's only 8. and half of them don't live in Bulgaria. So that's me, Sergey. I hope you know this guy. If you don't, Google him. He's right now representing Bulgaria in the cheapest competition for social entrepreneurship. He really helps save the bees. So one like for him is one bee saved. So make sure you find him. Bobby is right now a part of the very advanced research and development team in Samsung in San Francisco. Raicho, you probably know. How many of you know Raicho? Raicho hands. Right, Raicho runs a lot of stuff. He's most famous for running the space program in the Sofia University. Be sure to check him out. And we have Dimitar, who's actually a professor of physics in Stanford, in the Stanford University. And we have Stefan. Is Stefan here by any chance? Because he said he might come. Anyway, he works in infragistics, does a lot about UI, UX, lots of stuff I don't understand. We have Radoy, who's right over there, Chief Marketing Officer of a big bank. And we have Nicola Danilov, who is a futurist, has a video podcast, a very famous videographer. He lives in Canada. All of this is happening with Mr. Ganapas's actually workforce. I mean, the ladies put a lot of effort to organize this whole thing, and it's with her organization's help, so DNA, the Digital National Alliance. So that said, what are exponential technologies? So exponential technologies are technologies which grow exponentially. That's quite obvious, right? Which means that their price-performance combination doubles every 18 months, like Moore's law, which we'll see in a couple of slides. So that said, some of those technologies, the most famous ones, are artificial intelligence and robotics. I'll just give you an example. A couple of years ago, IBM started a platform called IBM Watson. And IBM Watson humans in a game called Jeopardy, which is kind of like Stani Bogat, but a bit more different. This was 2011. That machine was as big as a data center, which is bigger than this building. Right now, it's software as a service, and you can run the standalone instance in a single server. So imagine the exponential growth in artificial intelligence. Then we have biotechnologies. You can make a luminescent plant for less than $100 right now. You can sequence your own genome for less than $1,000 right now. It was 10 million 10 years ago. So, exponential. Nanotech and digital fabrication, all things about 3D printing and nanotechnologies come here. And then we have networks and computing systems, which are becoming obviously faster and faster all the time. Which leads us to why does Singularity University exist? And Singularity University exists in order to help humans, like all of us here, solve humanity's grand challenges. And those grand challenges are also our greatest opportunities. If we solve, even if we improve something with 1 or 2% for a billion people, this is a multi-billion-dollar business. It will become a multi-billion-dollar business. So the challenges themselves are food, energy, water, security, health, environment, education, poverty, and space. If you're wondering, the abbreviation is few sheets. That's how you can remember it. So that said, this is Moore's law. I hope you've seen it. It shows that even before we had transistors, and before we had vacuum tubes, we had computers. And those computers were improving in speed and efficiency exponentially. So the end result is that right now, those things are doubling their price performance every 18 months. And the end result is that the thing in your pocket is far much faster than computers, than all the computers in the NASA space program, which they used to run programs on in 1969 to send people to the moon. That said, there's 4 Ds in order to recognize what a disruptive technology is. And the first 2 Ds are deceptive to disruptive. So exponential technologies look a lot like incremental technologies, incremental improvements in the first few years of their development. And then for the technologies which we just showed, we are right here. We're at the inflection point where things will become crazy. They will start to double every 18 months. And the other parts, the other ways to recognize an exponentially growing technology are the other Ds. So, for example, digitize. Once something becomes non-material, once something becomes ones and zeros, once something becomes not analog but information-based, ones and zeros, like music, photos, or the GPS, then it can become exponential. It can ride on a platform which is exponential. The other thing is dematerialized. If you dematerialize the camera, the microphone, the recorder, radios, vectors, all this stuff, plus many more, all of those are in your pockets right now. Lots of technologies are being dematerialized right now. Cars are becoming dematerialized right now. The car will become that. It's a matter of time for us, for all of us, to have some kind of self-driving car with some kind of an app, which we just press a button and then we get a car. We get a small car for a city, a large car for a weekend with our families. We get a car, and we pay it as a service. It's actually not a matter of technological progress right now. It's a matter of business models of insurance companies. Actually, all the automakers have autonomous cars right now. And then the other thing is demonetized. So once the costs of products and services decrease significantly, then those products and services can become exponential. As our friend from Estonia can tell you, Skype really kicked a lot of stuff right here in long-distance phone calls. Then we have record stores, which are being disrupted by iTunes, bookstores, Amazon just destroyed most of them, and so on. That said, the fourth thing is democratized, which means access should be available everywhere. And this little picture shows a Loom for all. Do you know about Google Loom project? Can I get a show of hands? How many of you know about it? Okay, that's a good percentage. Good. So the Google Loom project is obviously a project of Google X. And what they do is they send balloons to the near end of space. And those balloons form a 3D network, a mobile network, which you, meaning everybody, can use with a smartphone and connect to them. And Facebook has a project which uses drones but has a similar effect. Elon Musk has a project which uses satellites but has a similar effect. The end result is we'll have internet everywhere, and we'll have devices everywhere. The end result for a lot of companies is that the thing which we can define as a codec moment. So Kodak is the company which invented digital photography in the 1980s. And in 2012, it had 140,000 employees and went bankrupt. Not because of lack of smart people in the company. Whereas in 2012, a small company from 13 people was bought by Facebook, just because it used a few very smart algorithms and it rolled on the shoulders of giants on a few exponential technologies like computer storage, computer networks, and faster processors in the mobile phones. So what we see is a disruptive opportunity. What we have is exponential technologies which will empower individuals to affect billions of people. And what our aim here in the chapter is to start small. Affect the lives of a few hundred thousand, and then affect the lives of a few million, right? That's the aim. A few examples from Singularity University. Lowe's and Fellow Robots. Fellow Robots is a company which was founded in Singularity University Labs. And what they do is they use their own robots as service men in Lowe's, which are stores. So once you get into the store, you are greeted by a robot. The robot says, "Hello, sir. Good afternoon. How can I help you?" And then you can say, "Well, I need a screwdriver." And then the robot shows you a picture of the screwdriver, and then you can scroll through a bunch of different pictures, and then it can guide you to the screwdriver and show you where the screwdriver is. So it displaces a human. Miraculous is actually a company which was founded in our year. Those guys were classmates of me and Vito and Sergei. What they do is they use a few samples of blood, a few draws of blood. They put them on this thing. It costs probably $1 or $2 for the test, and they can detect lots of diseases, but what's more interesting is they can detect 95 was the last time I counted, 95 types of cancer. They can detect lung cancer in stage 1, when it is treatable with a pill. We don't die from it, which is a huge thing. The way they do it is they use big data analytics on a pattern of the blood. So they illuminate blood with a special lamp, they see a few patterns, and they do big data analytics on top of it. They have a whole TED talk about it, 20 minutes, be sure to check it out. Scanadu is the first medical tricorder. If you've seen Star Trek, they have the medical tricorder. So Dr. Scotty, I think was his name. Dr. Scotty has this thing which he points at the person, he knows what's wrong with him. So Scanadu's thing is as big as this. You press it next to your lobe, and it gives you a lot of information about you as the patient. They know your temperature, blood pressure, heart rate. They also know blood oxygenation levels and a few other things. They can measure blood, skin conductivity, and so on, and do big data analytics on top of this as well. And Made in Space was the company which made the first 3D printer, which was sent to the International Space Station. So the astronauts can 3D print tools in the space station instead of lugging them from Earth. They just need material, and then whatever breaks, they can print new tools. Molten Meadow do cloned meat. And cloned leather. So instead of killing the animal, you can just clone a few skin cells and make a belt or shoes without killing the animal. That said, those were the examples. What does Singularity University do? Singularity University is most famous for two of its programs. It's most famous for the graduate studies program, which me and Vito went through, and the executive program, which Radoje went through. Graduate studies program is 10 weeks long, lasts whole summer. The executive program is 8 days? 8 days. Yeah. Then we have a number of custom programs, exponential conferences, faculty engagements, etc. So this is the education part. We have the innovation part, where Singularity University has a startup accelerator, innovation partnership programs, etc. And then we have the community part, which is what we're doing right now. So Singularity University last year finally approved the initiative of a lot of us to actually expand the community, to share some more thoughts, some more presentations, some more materials and presenters, and to form a larger community to talk and speak and discuss exponentially growing technologies and their impact on our lives. So we have the impact partnerships, global impact competitions, which I'll talk about in a second, ambassador programs, chapters, and advisory boards. The global community is 1,700 alumni, 50 ambassadors, 29 companies, sponsors, corporate sponsors are companies like Coca-Cola, Lowe's, they work also with UNICEF, Unis Ventures, Ashoka, iFire, and so on. Practically every large company you can think of has at some point of time worked with Singularity University. Like the last customer I heard about was the board of directors of Lego. And they just paid a bunch of money and got a couple of people from Singularity to advise them for a week. Because Lego, as you can imagine, should be worried about 3D printing. So what the hell are we doing here? What we're doing here, what we're trying to achieve here, is to expand the understanding of those technologies which I briefly touched upon, create positive change and a little bit of economic growth through events, networking opportunities, and the community. So after we finish today, there's a bar, get a beer, talk to each other. What we aim to do is raise awareness on those technologies by doing focused events. So what we'll start doing in the autumn is we'll try to get an event every month, and those events will be focused. So we'll have an event, let's say, on the future of finance, and then we'll speak about what do large banks think about the future of finance, what do startups think about the future of finance. We'll get someone from the blockchain foundation to speak about blockchain and the uses of the technology, maybe not even in finance and so on. Then we'll have an event on the future of manufacturing. We'll talk about 3D printing, we'll talk about other stuff. We'll have an event about the future of networks and digital systems. And then we might get someone from IBM who's really pushing the IBM Watson initiative right now. This way, what we aim to do is to create a community amongst you guys and us, and mix together and get a couple of lights going on. So after a year, I gather, we'll have a community of a few hundred people, which will be able to speak properly, engage a larger audience on the topics of exponential technologies, and on the topics of their impact on our society, so that no other person ever becomes a taxi driver or a truck driver, or an accountant for that matter, or a lawyer, or there's a lot of professions. 49% of the professions will be disrupted. So there's a lot to speak about. Of course, what we also aim to do is ignite a conversation amongst business and professionals and politicians, and kind of mix this audience in some kind of a creative way in order to produce some kind of possible solutions without complaining, which is a Bulgarian part, which I think you all agree with. So complaining is forbidden. Brainstorm, propose solutions. Share best practices and give visibilities of Bulgarian companies somewhere else. In the future, we might be able to run, if we gather enough sponsors, we might be able to run a global impact competition, which will allow us to send a single person from Bulgaria to Singularity University to the summer program every year. Because unfortunately, this year we don't have a person in Singularity University, which is the first year we don't have. Every year before that we had someone. And possibly next year we can run a conference, like a larger proper conference, which will discuss those technologies. So the aim is really to gather a mixed audience. Don't talk just about startups, don't talk just about politics, not about established businesses. Mix everybody and be creative, find solutions for our local issues without complaining, and try to bring some know-how from the Silicon Valley here. That's it. Right now, what I'll do is, feel free to email me. What I'll do is I'll give the microphone to Vito, who's a classmate of mine, as I told you. He is running a very interesting company whose numbers are through the roof. He founded it with 3 classmates of ours, and yeah, the rest he'll tell you the rest. So thank you very much.
Hola. So guys, what's up? First of all, guys, congratulations. I'm just coming from Tel Aviv, Israel, where, like Steve mentioned, the Singularity community is pretty massive, and it seems like a party every single time we would be gathered together. Like 30, 40 people right there, which is a lot, by the way. In terms of, I think it's one of the largest community of GSP/ED/alumni of Singularity. So congrats for this, because like, it's not common to see lots of people, it's really it's common, but to see all these many people gathering to the same place. And by the way, I don't know if any of you is already associated with someone who is like us, the previous alumni of Singularity, but if you're not, please do spend the time to have a conversation with them, especially like I know only 2 of them, unfortunately, Sergey and Theo, and for me, most interesting / best things I see around usually is the fact of being able to have conversations in a bar, which are usually not possible to have in a bar. That means with these people you can talk about all the technologies without the person looking at you and saying what the fuck are you talking about. And therefore it's kind of like, at least for me, it's very exciting in terms of like intellectual interest per se. Now, that being said, a couple of words about Snap, which we are very excited about. Snap is a company that was born out of GSP by 3 GSP alumni. Me, Gabriele, and Saf, where me, I'm Italian. You might have heard from the accent. There is Gabriele instead, who is Chilean, and then instead the third one, Asaf, which is Israeli. And for like, I think GSP is the only one program where you can have people from so many nationalities coming together, forming a company. And then I really encourage you to go in front of an investor and start telling the story. The best one actually was one investor saying, guys, saying after telling it, it's Chilean, Italian, Israeli, this guy goes, Vito, this sounds like a joke. But really working the bar. No, anyway, regarding bar. The reason why I'm very excited about this thing, about what we're doing, is that like you just heard of it. the scope of Singularity is to build products / companies / innovations that has the possibility and potential to impact billions of lives. And literally in terms of network, it's extremely exciting to see a very supportive network in this direction. Now, the way in which, like, once you go to GSP or to any of the programs, everyone approaches the same topic with a different angle. Who comes from a biotech? Approaches from a biotech angle. Who comes from more engineering background, story, and so on. And the way in which we decided to approach it, and the challenge we decided to overcome, was the one of empowerment, was the one of democratization, the one of allowing billions of businesses around the planet, billions of entrepreneurs around the planet, for the first time in their lives, to have a possibility to be online and to use technology for empowering their companies. And therefore, we start this now. Now, before I dive into the company, just like a 10 seconds overview about me. I'm originally from Italy, but don't live in Italy since some time. I'm an Asia guy. I first moved to Shanghai, Hong Kong for 2 years when I started my first company. Then I joined Google, first in Google Enterprise team in Dublin, and then in Google X team. And while doing the transition, I went to Singularity, and then I decided to leave for starting this company. And the big jump was like definitely work. And meanwhile, on the side, I like to organize conferences. We do a conference on mobile, and we do TED. I'm sure you heard of it. I organize, I believe, the biggest TEDx event in Europe with 12,000 participants. Now, Example, we call it as the business platform for the mobile-only economy. The long story short, it means mobile-only economy is the economy made of people which do not have a computer, but they do only have a smartphone device. Now, I don't know, like, is there anyone in this audience who does not have a computer? Everyone else, right? Now, question for you though. As a matter of fact, during your personal life, I'm pretty sure you're seeing yourself transitioning from being more PC dependent to be more mobile dependent. And and if you go, and we are already in this part of the planet, which is the northern hemisphere, which is the developed world. Now, if you go in the southern hemisphere, which is the emerging planet, so essentially you go in Africa, Latin America, in Southeast Asia, you will see that of all the entrepreneurs which already exist there, which is 100 million of them, and all the internet consumers which exist there, which is a billion plus already, 96% of them doesn't own a computer. 96% of them lives his life on a smartphone. And they're not alone, and actually there's few more coming. And there is actually, by forecast said, in the next 4 years, there is 2 billion people more which are coming online, 110 million more businesses which are coming online, and once again, all of them come from the smartphone device. They will never touch a physical keyboard in their life. Now, lots of stats, lots of numbers. The thing that I really want to get out of this is that we are kind of seeing the emergence of an exponential trend where in this economy, way of thinking that we have our office in front of the PC doesn't actually exist. And all the things that we plan and we think, we believe that actually are possible to do with the desktop computers are indeed not doable from a smartphone device. Now, as an entrepreneur, and I believe several of you are entrepreneurs, you have several needs. First, you know your company needs to be online. Then you want to find a customer. Then you want to do marketing campaigns. Then you want to have a CRM and analytics system. You want to have tools for empowering your companies. All of this, even starting from the most stupid of all, like creating a web presence, meaning giants like Wix.com, which is together with GoDaddy Express, one of the biggest on the planet. You might figure, of course, it's super easy to do. It's like from the mobile device. Of course, you can do the fonts. And therefore, there are like 600 million businesses which are off the grid, which are not completely online. 600 million businesses, which they all have 2 options. One being offline, the second option being paying a software house, paying a developer. But you need to have technical knowledge. you need to have expertise, you need to have the capital needed to do this. And when the economic level of your income is below $15 a day, well, you start wondering, that's not like next year. I'll do next year. Therefore, what we decided to do was we decided to kind of bridge the kind of no desktop, no party attitude, and becomes the leading platform for businesses in emerging economies to come online and to power their company through technology. Now, I'm not going to go into details for the sake of this presentation, but as a matter of fact, we do this thing in a few ways. We have a set of products that we build over time with our company, which allow entrepreneurs to first be online, then to do marketing campaigns, to do a CRM completely from mobile, and now we are building tools for developers to enter these markets. And when I say developer enter these markets, the reason why we're extremely excited is that since launch, the growth has been just spectacular, and I'll show you in a second what spectacular means for us. I mean, once you see a graph which goes constantly in this direction, I think it's a good sign for a company, and especially when pretty much all of this is organic, because we are the only solution available in this market. Therefore, that's why we are very excited about this. And since we are bringing a lot of businesses online, to date we have, I think, 10,000 companies, which from Africa and Latin America came online thanks to us. And now we are kind of reaching the scale to be relevant enough for players like Google Enterprise, like Facebook, like Internet.org, like PayPal, to partner with us because now they want to enter these markets. And they say, I want to enter this market, but businesses are not online. And since we are bringing them online, now they're paying us in order to be a connector with the business owner. And that's why I love this one. I love the approach of Singularity, having this sort of double bottom line businesses. But on one side, you're a nice company on the economic standpoint. And on the other side, you feel proud. You feel proud because besides building cool products, and sorry for being very fast, I want to be an investor pitch. Besides building cool products, and besides seeing that your product is used by thousands and thousands and thousands of people, both creators, meaning business owners, and users in the economy, meaning imagine how cool this thing is. At one point, we decided to launch in Africa. In Africa, I went in two countries. In Kenya, easy, because like Kenya is one of the first places where you go in Africa. You go in Kenya, you go in Nigeria, you go in South Africa, and then if you're really desperate, they do have a smartphone because they know the value of it, they heard of it in TV. And, or likely they just joined because of WhatsApp and or Messenger. Now at this point, they're starting to see the value because the place where they want to buy from, they're now online. And therefore it kind of spurs a network effect, which is proving at least very exciting for us so far. Let's hope we also monetize it in the future. For now, it's good. Now, what about lots of businesses? In the last 2 weeks, we just added 2,000 more of them. business models for investor, storage, which is the part I like the most, being on the impact side of things. It's extremely exciting when I don't know, unfortunately, many of you built a product in the past. But one thing is to see a product which is used by people, and which is used frequently by people, which is already very exciting. And the other thing is to see a product which is used by people, keep on used by people, but also when people write to you and say thank you. I think it's something which can sort of very powerful for us. Every single time we get the thank you note, it kind of warm our heart. To the extent at one point we decided to kind of build success stories, where to the people they started to send us thank you, just we just interviewed them, number one, first the founders, and then now we are setting up a team of people, usually on the ground, which go with these people, ask their stories, ask how the company, and not the company, don't do anything, just empower them to do stuff, how the internet and use them of technology in their companies is changing their lives. And this thing at one point go to the attention of UNICEF. UNICEF and BBC and other outlets, which decided to build a documentary around what we're doing, and this one of necessary helps. And then there is one more story, which is one point, imagine for a second, because once you need to talk to investor, you need to usually tell the thing the investor wants to hear. So in our case, we are the fastest growing business platform for the mobile economy. We target businesses, we bring them online, and blah, 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 blah. But as a matter of fact, Snap is also available for other verticals, which are not necessarily businesses, which are also education, which are also events, which are non-profit, which are blog, which are whatever. And one of the coolest stories from the education standpoint came still from the unlikely country of Malawi. But at one point, sorry guys for citing Malawi, it's very exciting. At one point, the government, together with Facebook, IBM, and Google, decided to launch a competition. Said, guys, let's find the best app developer in the country. And they did a gigantic prize and lots of competition here and there and blah, blah, blah. And around 6 to 8 weeks ago, we were notified about the 5 finalists. There were 5 finalists out of 5 finalists in the competition of best app developer in the country were Snap developers. And therefore, officially, suddenly we became the best app developer in the country. It probably is the most used app development tool in the country. And at one point, the winner, to this biggest surprise, was sent over to Mountain View, to the Facebook conference, where he had the meeting and the dinner and the lunch, whatever we took him back in person. But at one point, Zuckerberg said, man, how did you build your stuff? You from Malawi. And they said, from Snap. And then suddenly, you see the social impact turns back to the companies, because then it was extremely exciting for us to be in the call with Zuckerberg and tell the story of Snap. And then suddenly, our relationship with Facebook, which was already very strong, became to a very high level. And now we're working very closely with Facebook in order to empower users and entrepreneurs in these companies. Now, when I say about Facebook, I'm very proud about the team. Facebook is appears 2 times. But essentially, right now, it's actually it's the 3 of us, the founders on top, our CTO and us, we joined. There are 19 members. And by the way, Sofia is one of our biggest centers. We're now available. We have offices in 3 places: Tel Aviv, Santiago, and Sofia. And I usually come here very often because I just love the place. And then it's us plus 4 advisors. Now we have 3 plus 1 actually who just joined. And the reason why I very much encourage you to do something which is close to your heart is because then if you're able to sell what you do, not sell, to explain what you do, people join. And therefore suddenly we had, I don't know if any of you used Odesk, freelance.com, which were giant freelancing platforms. Now they all merged into one company, Upwork. The founder and CEO of this one is on our board of directors, together with a guy, Ramakant, who built the fairest on the planet. He launched it to Africa and India. He brought it to 400 million active users. He sold to Facebook. He became the chief growth officer of Facebook. He started Internet.org, and now he's heading Lyft and is on the board of directors of Snap. Then we have Laura, which is the head of partnership of Facebook Global, and especially in the Latin American team, which close partnership for Facebook with every telecom on the planet. Therefore, it's very convenient for us. And then the last one, the fourth and last one, which is Nicola, the Italian, and which was used to be the general manager of Facebook Africa, which now is the general manager of Airbnb, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And all these people coming on board because they buy into the vision of empowering people. And they buy into the concept that before Theo talked about, which they want to, in order to build something which is successful also on an economical standpoint, we believe that also allowing everyone to pay $1, but a billion people pay $1, it gets still a $1 billion company, right? And they buy lots into this philosophy, and they try to join us, and this one, you might imagine, completely skyrocketed the company in an entire new level. Entire new level, okay, this one. We are raising funds, we are actually pretty much done with it, and it's very exciting, and we want to become the gateway for the next 2 billion internet users to come online for the first time to see value in the internet. Because like at one point, let me tell you a stupid story, and why I believe into value generation, which is talking with Anna from Facebook. The head of growth at one point was telling about the acquisition in Africa. And he said, for us, acquiring customers in Africa is extremely easy. They all come to Messenger. And then after Messenger, they go to Facebook. Think about it's the opposite, right? First of Facebook, and then you use Messenger. For them, it's exactly Messenger first, then Facebook. And then he said, yes, but the problem we have there is that engagement and retention of the user within Facebook is very hard. Why? Because if you are in Rwanda, there is nothing, there is no media outlet which is online in Rwanda. And therefore, you kind of see on your Facebook feed the weather in London. And you don't really care about it. I mean, like, it's not something which is extremely relevant for you. And therefore, empowering people to also build blogs, which for us is something common. Like, there is not. Or to build the content online is kind of proving very beneficial for the company to kind of show users and for the user to see the value of using technology. And that's it. We're actually hiring very aggressive. As I mentioned before, we don't punch people. We just want them to come and buy into the vision of becoming the business platform of the emerging markets, of empowering billions of people to come online for the first time of their life. That's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Vito. We are so glad that you could make it. Okay, now we have two options. First is that we use this opportunity and raise your questions to Theo, to Vito, and of course to Kale. And the second one would be that we do it all during our networking drinking session. So it's entirely up to you. The floor is yours. If you have some urgent questions coming from inside, just feel free to come up and raise them.
Can I ask one more thing? No, can I ask one more thing?
Sure.
Please, I have one request for you. Please, and I'm not thinking about this, which is, if you know anyone which is the head of marketing, the head of CEO, the CEO, any decision maker in any big company, please talk to the guy about Singularity and have him connect with you or with anyone from the staff who's organizing this one. And the reason why I'm telling you this is, trust me, this experience of organizing the competition and having one guy from the get to actually go in Singularity and spend the time in the GSP or whatever is not only going to change his life, it's going to change, hopefully, in the future, the life of the country. Maybe too aggressive, fine. It's going to hopefully create a little bit of impact. And for I really urge you, for this one, Israel is amazing. They're super solid about this. And they now see the effect of this stuff. So please, if you know any C-level, any decision maker, any guy with a lot of money and wants to contribute to the score, please connect them and life is good.
Thanks, Vito. Right, guys, questions? Anyone? We really don't bite. Thanks, Ruben. Good, go. Ciao, please. Yeah, please, ciao.
It's for you, actually. Ranker 12 says Singularity in artificial intelligence is coming in the third years. What do you think about this? person, 30 years, the artificial intelligence will be more intelligent than all the humanity. So.
Okay, look, let's give you a very simple example. We're all cyborgs. Can you live without this? No, really, can you? No. The answer is probably for 90% of us, we can't live without constant communication. So this thing is getting faster and faster. At one point of time, you'll be able to integrate it in some way, in some more direct way with your body, which means it will start as a wearable and then move on as something which you can implant if you want to. There'll be a number of interfaces.
No, I don't mean it's bad thing. I'm asking, do you believe in this? What happens?
I'm telling you what I believe in. I'm telling you what I believe in. I don't believe in Terminators. The end result will be that at one point of time we won't have humans, puny humans with intelligence and stupid eyes, and the artificial intelligence over here. Whereas we'll have something which is called IA, intelligence augmentation. So we'll have our human, whatever we have, and then we'll have an interface which will allow us to have some more frontal cortex available in the cloud, on demand, as a service, which will be connected to our credit cards. That's what I think. I think it's a good thing. I think we're going. This is the next step of evolution.
Don't give it to the wife.
That's right. Okay, cool. Thanks. Next one.
Please shout that. We have only one. So I have two questions. The first one, can you give us some kind of a timeline when do you plan to have this competition going for SingularityU?
Competition.
And the second question is, why would you send one person to Singularity University? Wouldn't you usually send a team that's working on an idea, or just you haven't said it at the start?
Team. Okay. Cool. So the question was, when do you think the competition is starting, and then why would you send a team instead of one person? Why wouldn't you send a team instead of just one person? So cool. First of all, competition costs money. So global competition, global impact competition costs money. That's why we're building this thing here. We need your feedback, guys. Like, we definitely need you. We need you to speak with other people. We need you to advise us, to tell us, look, idiots. Those are the topics which are interesting in Bulgaria right now. Those are the topics which are famous. You know, Uber was banned because yada yada yada. You know, let's talk about shared economy. One example, or other examples about topics, about speakers, about what should we do next. We have a program. It's malleable. That's the thing. The global impact competition costs a lot of money for the Bulgarian standards, so we need to get some traction. I believe we can, if all of us work together, we can get one prize for next year's event, which is the Global Impact competitions run in May or late April, and they send a person. The program just started now, yesterday. Actually, I saw a tweet which was all about, hey, Marilyn. Marilyn is from Stanford, go speak with her afterwards. She's right over there. And I just saw a topic which was laser-controlled mice. That was one of the topics of the lectures. So it costs a lot of money. We need to get the traction in order to get the corporate sponsors, in order to get them to spend money. Sending a team of people is impossible. In our year, there were 4,200 applicants, I think. Yeah, 4,200 applicants for 80 spots. It's limited to 80 spots. So sending a team of people to Singularity University, good luck. It's tough. I mean, I still have no idea why they selected me. Like, any single one of our classmates was smarter, better, faster than me in most things you can measure. So we can't send a team. We can send one person. Right now, there is a single global impact competition, which is based in Hungary. And this thing is for the whole Central Eastern Europe. So Poland down to Bulgaria. So, you know, if we have a Bulgarian one, it would be better. We can do it by we can gather the funds by next January or February, run the competition, and have the finalists in May sent there. And trust me, one person per year will make a lot of impact if we do that. Okay, next one. Come on, guys. Maybe you want to little. Right. Okay. 1, 2, 3. One question.
I'll try to start, but in Bulgaria, we're usually 10 years behind, or even more. You know, by judging by Silicon Valley, judging by other European countries. It's not a question of why is that, but how, do you have any ideas of how can we actually speed up innovation here? That's what I'm trying to figure out, because it always seems that, you know, speaking of the grand ideas is good, but how can we actually make it innovative, like original ideas here? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So if you have any ideas.
So I think we are speeding up right now. We shouldn't complain that we are 10 years behind. And those two guys over there, we're just standing up to go away. Those two guys over there are venture capitalists. And they are big parts of building the Bulgarian startup ecosystem. They are two very big parts. They are working with a lot of innovative companies, like things from Bulgaria are being used in places you never ever think they are being used. So we are growing. It's a matter of us, you know, it's all of us here. It's not the parliament, it's not the mayor, it's not the prime minister, it's us. We are the people who have to do it. Sure.
Counteract and complement the second yes, which is I come from Italy, but like I live in Israel. And like fine, Israel is a weird place, meaning everyone is entrepreneur to the extent that one night I was going to the club and the taxi driver asked me, what do you do? And I started explaining this guy now. And that idea is in the morning, and this guy goes, oh, me too. I'm not a taxi driver, I'm an entrepreneur. And then he started talking about this idea. And long story short, he asked me at the end of the ride, to tell you the secret sauce, you need to sign an NDA. So it's completely the opposite side of the spectrum. Now, I think I've been a few months in Bulgaria. I don't completely agree with you in the sense that there is no technology innovation there. I see one. We can argue regarding this, the attitude towards entrepreneurship, which I think is a different story, but not on the quality of innovation. And actually, I was telling to Martin, which is right there, one thing which is surprised that this whole event is actually in English, to be honest. I mean, in Italy, the Prime Minister doesn't speak English much. And I know it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. And the point is like already starting from a base where the country is ready from internationalization from the get-go, I think it's a very solid starting point. And the technical expertise is cannot be argued. There's a lot. Yeah, that's what I think is Bulgaria is in a good position to be.
Thanks, Vito. Just a second.
I didn't introduce myself in the beginning, so I'm an MP. I've been in the parliament for 9 years already, and I'm 31. So I think that bad things happen when good people just sit and don't do anything. So I think that if we look at what happened in UK, and if we look at the statistics, who vote for Remain and who vote for Leave, so the pensioners vote to leave, and the younger generation wanted to stay. So it means that we'll need more young people in the politics, and then please welcome. I think that all the people over here are ready to support somebody from SingularityU as well to represent yourself or some community in the parliament. So I haven't. It is usually connected, actually. The innovation and the age, usually in European Parliament, in national parliaments, and if you look at the ideas and the let's say the open mind and the open ideas and so on and so on, it's usually connected. And in Estonia, we felt that this is a good age combination actually that it's a good balance where the older generation becomes also more innovative, and it's a good way of doing things. Of course, you can't do a reshuffle with all the old school guys out and all the younger generation in. But anyway, it should be followed step by step. So the youngest member of the Estonian Parliament is currently 24, so I was 22 when I was elected. Our Prime Minister is 36 currently. He was 26 when he was elected to the Parliament. So it's how we do, and that's why we have the biggest share of startups per capita in Estonia if we look at the EU countries. And I think that I talked about, and as I talked about the experience, the 15-year experience of, let's say, developing the society, the smart society. Now we have the experience what to do and what not to do, and I think that all the other countries who have the political will to do something similar, not copy that, but do something similar, because this society can only be a tailor-made suit. So anyway, I think that you could do it much faster, and as the previous speaker said, that the new generation doesn't even touch the traditional keyboard anymore. And I mentioned before that as 60% of all the internet traffic in Estonia is consumed via smart devices, we have a problem with our 5-year old IT solutions, that they don't work for the citizens anymore because they don't know how to use especially PCs, but of course Mac computers either. So I think that reshuffle and bring more young people to politics, and then you could be the good leader. Your organization, I mean, the good field for the new ideas to at least bring it to Parliament.
Thank you very much. Okay, one over there. Sure.
Hello. So I'd like to ask something relating to entrepreneurship. I feel like the entrepreneurship is a little bit a club for people with technical skills. I mean, technical like IT skills. And not that you can't be an entrepreneur without IT skills, but it's much easier if you have them. So what would you say to the other people that don't have we have PC literacy, computer literacy, but we're not programmers, etc.
It depends on how you define IT skills. I mean, like, IT skills can go for a very wide range. It can go from being full, on one side of the spectrum, it can be only an engineer, the other side it can be only a business person, the other side it can be somewhere in the middle, able to get the V1 of the product, first prototype actually, product, second prototype, and then transition over to someone else, handing it over to someone else with the larger skills. I'll give you my example, which there was not, where I started as a business person with the technical knowledge accrued along my way, get to the technical job. And case of today, right now, my involvement is not in terms of engineering, pure engineering, still. I just don't do it anymore. I would love to, but as a matter of fact, there's opportunity cost. Where do I spend my time? I'd rather spend my time in partnerships, growing the company, more than spending my time, unfortunately, writing code or whatever. So the answer to you would be, don't think you're inferior because you don't know how to code. I mean, as a matter of fact, it's like you do need engineers as well as engineers need you. Yet, I'm starting maybe as a solo person, it's easier if you have the technical skills. Fine, I'll give you that. But I guess, if you're able to stay in a circle of people who actually do have the technical skills, that, by the way, usually do not have the social skills needed to then run the company and grow the company as a business, then at this point you will soon find yourself, then you're not in a bad spot. So on this one, I don't think the availability of technical capital that technical knowledge is a determining factor of success of an entrepreneur, not necessarily, in my mind.
Okay, guys, last question, and then we just turn this thing off and do a networking session. Is that okay? Like, this thing is weird. We just need to talk to each other. Okay, you.
Just a quick question about how were you able to bring in the elderly online in Estonia? Because like they can benefit a lot because usually they have difficulties moving around like using conventional infrastructure. So, but at the same time, like about 50% of the population in here has never accessed the internet. The government solution is to like lay fiber optic cables. So like, how do you bring the elderly online? How do you appeal to them?
First, we started with teaching all our citizens 1995, so we brought computers to every library, in every village, in everywhere. So it was 1995. In 2005, we started with e-voting and all these killer applications which I mentioned. But to talk about the connection as such, of course, we used a lot of EU taxpayers' money to improve the high-speed broadband in Estonia. And as a first step, what we did, and we think that this is the most successful model, as we have quite good mobile network, these antennas and whatsoever. So we had 3 competing telecom companies, and we put them all together. They founded an NGO, and the government over there was one equal partner, and we gave all the money for the investment for this NGO, and we connected all the mobile network with high-speed fiber. So we managed to have 4G internet in all of our mobile phones. And even though you don't have, let's say, cable to your house, you have enough speed, enough speeded mobile internet in every house. So we are 96% of our territory is covered with 4G. 5G is soon improving. So this is the situation, and that's why we let's say all the generations have the accessibility for the internet. We have a problem in capital, in talent, because we have so many users, but we have to improve the mobile network for that. But the cable, there is no need to throw a cable to every house, because the mobile network is developing so fast. It's important you have possibility to connect industries to this high-speed broadband, because we have, together with the Germans, we have this project Industry 4.0, where we could replace all these processes and procedures in internet in industries with digital solutions, and it saves a lot actually. Actually, I didn't mention it today, just by signing digitally, we save 2% of our GDP per 1 year in Estonia, and we'll spend 2% of GDP according to our agreement with NATO for defending ourselves. So we just take it very simple. We defend ourselves by signing documents digitally. So this is a good thing to follow, because we have some problems by defending ourselves in the EU. Not every country is spending 2% of GDP on the defense budget. Only 4 NATO member states are doing that: Greece, UK, Estonia, and the United States of America. So it's a problem and a challenge at the same time.
Thank you very much. I think Vitu wants to add something.
I would love actually to answer this stupid story, which was remarkable for me, which is that one of 3 weeks ago, I told you about the conferences. 3 weeks ago in Milan, they held a mobile conference regarding mobile-only content. Wonder why. At one point, we had two of the speakers, which is one of our advisors, the head of Airbnb here in Middle East and Africa, which brought Facebook to Africa, so it kind of knows a couple of things of the country, the region, sorry.
And then the other one was the CEO of Flipkart. Flipkart is a gigantic company in India. It's the Amazon of India, just to give you the sort of scale. At one point, these two people, they didn't really like each other. They were never into agreement on things. And during the conversation, at one point I asked them, as I usually do with every entrepreneur I meet, I asked him, if you need to build technology, do you build technology for today, or you build technology for 2 years down the line, assuming that the forecast you do, the forecast available, are actually correct, and therefore you kind of bet on the future trends of the economy, of the technology. And this was the only moment when actually these two individuals kind of got to an agreement. And they said, and actually they kind of resembled the concept of singularity we discussed today, which was that one of Vitole. Technology is accelerating so fast, it would be stupid for us to even bet on the technology of today. We'll never spend time on this. We of course build for the technology of 2 years from now. Just to reconnect this story to your initial question on how do you bring the grandmother online? Honestly, I won't spend a cent on the grandmother, to be honest. It be controversial, whatever. I will spend a lot of cents on the grandson. And then I will have the grandson install WhatsApp. And I will have the grandson telling the grandmother, Grandma, yalla, come on, talk to me on WhatsApp. And suddenly the grandmother sees the use of the mobile person. Now, I don't know if this can get past all the validity check for every piece of technology. However, I think in terms of investment, it was a nice consideration to hear from these two individuals. That's it.
For some reason, we have the situation where let's say younger generation and more innovative generation, those who like to order Uber by using app, rent an apartment from Airbnb and whatsoever, they are becoming on the same situation as the grandsons. So I myself introduced Facebook for my grandmother because then she sees what I'm doing every day. Otherwise in Facebook, for example. So that's it. And we have politicians in the situation like our grandmother, and this, let's say, innovative sector must teach how to implement the new technologies which are already here, and how not to over-regulate them, as we spoke today in the parliament. By the way, just two questions. Maybe you could ask. Maybe you could answer. What are the two main things that people usually are lacking of, which governments could provide to them more? Just two, very simple: time and money. And these ITC solutions and services, these 2,600 services that we provide by the government for our citizens, that save a lot of money, as I explained before, and save a lot of time, and then all the other e-services as well. And could you answer who are the two main companies and sectors who are blocking this European digital single market initiative? Very simple, very simple sectors, very simple companies. From one country, actually. Lufthansa and Deutsche Post. Deutsche Post is against digital signatures because then you don't have to apostille and then send the documents, and Lufthansa because then you don't have to make so many business travels. So how bad is that for us? Because we have to pay so much, we have to wait 2 hours in Frankfurt to go to some country. So anyway, I think that we'll need some more fresh minds in the politics and in the European politics as well to make good decisions. So thank you for the invitation once again.
Got it. Thank you very much. Okay, guys. Well, we saw an example of a couple of things our country could steal or get for free from
Do even better. Do
even better. We saw an example of a company. I hope I gave you a good overview of Singularity University. We need your involvement. Please send suggestions for what the next event should be. Please send suggestions on who should we talk to. And let's talk. over the next half an hour. So let's go there. Thank you very much.